our presentation is on the impacts of climate change on U.S. transportation infrastructure. I'm Arnav.
I'm Divyansh.
And O'Brien.
So, to give some background and significance on this topic, reliable infrastructure is essential in maintaining a region's economy. Infrastructure is designed to have a long lifespan, and global warming events lead to more frequent and extreme events, which can put infrastructure at risk. This is especially apparent in coastal regions, where rising sea levels and more extreme storms can lead to more storm surge and flooding, which can damage roads, bridges, railways, ports, and coastal airports. So, some of the consequences of global warming are that it increases the precipitation, which can lead to flooding. There's more severe weather events such as tornadoes and hurricanes, and it can also cause the melting of permafrost due to the temperature rising, which can destabilize the infrastructure that it supports. You can see this image from Alaska here, where the building is heavily damaged. So some of the economic costs related to climate change are that the U.S. Department of Transportation predicts that not adopting our road systems would cost at least $100 billion by 2050. Globally, damages to road and railway infrastructure is estimated to cost between $3 billion and $22 billion. And in total, extreme weather events cost the U.S. $150 billion per year.
So there's a couple of operational challenges when it comes to infrastructure and the forever changing climate. So existing infrastructure will require modification or complete locational changes for it to remain usable. As you can see in the image to the right, there's a huge puddle of water across train tracks, and you may need to build train tracks around it, just go around it, or you'll have to cut that line completely off in the next couple of years. Number two, newer infrastructure will have shorter lifespans due to more extreme weather events happening at higher frequencies. So we can see maybe in 30 years later, you'll have to keep building a new bridge every year or so when you don't have to really maintain the infrastructure we have today. Maybe build a bridge every 10 years, but due to the higher weather events, more extreme weather events happening at higher frequencies, we might have to do that. Number three, existing materials may not reach the requirements and maintenance needs of the modern world and the demands of changing conditions. So maybe due to the more extreme weather events, the roads might be cracking, might get more hotter. So you will have to build new roads, and yeah, all of this will cost a lot of money. To mitigate the damage, the California Legislative Office reported the current and future challenges of climate change on the transportation industry within the state. Here's a small fraction of it. So they're requiring the agencies to integrate climate resiliency into how they prioritize and select projects. Factors could include the immediacy of expected climate change impact, state ownership, number of road users affected, public safety, and potential effects on surrounding land uses. Depending on the project, they might need alternative funding sources to fund the project, and they continue to explore how it can encourage the development of transportation infrastructure that promotes more efficient transit modes and reduces overall greenhouse gas emissions. Here is the country's socio-economic status on the transportation industry in the forever changing climate. These past years have led to increased rainfall in certain regions, droughts, and more extreme weather activity. So what would poor countries do where they have weak infrastructure and weak drainage system? And according to a case study of a 1.7 kilometer street in China, it's estimated that approximately 0.7 million US dollars is needed to improve its drainage capacity from that for a 1 and 2 year event to that for a 1 and 5 year event.
So what we're looking at here is a picture of the New York City subway and how it was flooded after Hurricane Sandy. And this picture itself, well, I showed it just to let you just see us a little glimpse of what could happen to our public transport infrastructure with the climate change and the increased and more intensified extreme weather events like hurricanes. And there's millions of people that use this subway and this public transport infrastructures within New York City. And if all these people suddenly can't use the subway, that can have worse impacts on the city infrastructure, its transportation with cars itself. And just another picture, kind of put things in perspective. This is a bridge, a 7 mile bridge connecting some islands on the Florida Keys. And there's also so many people that use this bridge, but with the rising sea levels and intensified weather events, this bridge can get damaged over time because of these things and can lead to even more impacts on infrastructure. So just to sum up what we covered, climate change can negatively impact the transportation infrastructure, and it can have significant economic impacts. Things like intensified, hurricanes, tornadoes, melting of permafrost, like rising sea levels. These are all byproducts of climate change, which can and will impact the integrity of our roads, bridges, and transport systems like subways. And just in a year, these extreme weather events cost $150 billion. And these infrastructure damages can be mitigated, but that's if we integrate climate resiliency into the planning of future infrastructure projects like bridges and roads. And here are sources.